A major cyber attack on a vital pipeline forced it to shut down for a third day. And the hacker group that's claiming responsibility is called the Dark Side. It's believed to be operated by a Russian cybercrime gang. They posted on their website, yes, they have a website, that they didn't mean to cause any problems. Well, the pipeline did cause a lot of problems, though, because it runs from Texas to New Jersey and it supplies 45% of the fuel the Northeast consumes. If the shutdown lasts through this week, experts say that gas prices could shoot up past $3 a gallon. So will this cyber attack on the pipeline be a wake-up call to vulnerable companies? Joining us now is retired Colonel of the U.S. Army and former Director of Cybersecurity Policy, Strategy, and International Affairs, John Mills. John, thank you so much for joining us. You know, the question a lot of folks asking, how did we miss this? How did this happen? It runs through 17 states.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Heather and Bob. Well, this is important critical infrastructure. We have Department of Homeland Security, has the Industrial Control Systems CERT, the National Risk Management Center, and CISA, Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency. It's kind of in their basket to be watching and monitoring this. It shows the frailty and the vulnerability of our system. We have so much a density of the processing in the Houston area, the refinement, and then just a small number of pipelines such as Colonial that we're depending upon. And this is pumping out about roughly 30% of our daily usage across the country. So somehow we missed this. We have 8 departments and agencies supposed to be monitoring this, and somehow it slipped through.
Yeah, to that end, I was kind of curious about the efforts in the Defense Department. One of the areas that is actually going up in budget and manpower is cybersecurity, cyber warfare, if you will. Is it a surprise that this came through or broke through, or is this unrelated to the efforts on the government's part to defend us?
Well, it's kind of related. This is all interagency activity using whole of government. And I went through a number of these situations and ran a number of these crises while I was in government in service. And these are whole of government activities. Now, being domestic, DHS is really kind of in the lead, but you always identify a lead and a supported and a supporting departments and agencies. So absolutely, Cyber Command, the intelligence community, would be in support of DHS and would provide a lot of the muscle and a lot of the capabilities to support DHS in identifying who is it and what do we do about it, and do we need to take action and respond and send a message back.
You know, this particular group that's claiming responsibility should have been on someone's radar because they have hit before, and they've hit some big companies. I mean, Enterprise Car Rentals, also a division of Office Depot, and then another company as well.
Yeah, always assignment of responsibility is very difficult in these matters. It's not always neat and clean, even when a group comes out and accepts responsibility. Real establishment of responsibility is challenging and often takes days and weeks to really go through all the forensics and identify for sure. Even though the group has come out and said, yes, they did it, that could be a ruse in itself. We don't know. There's a lot going on behind the veil to validate these claims and validate responsibility and assign responsibility. So it takes a while, even when a group says we did it, but we didn't mean to do any damage. This is just it takes a while to establish this.
Sir, what worries you about this kind of action?
You know what worries me really is we have almost too much data, not enough analysis. That's what concerns me, because I know from my time handling these situations, we just have a flood of data, but we just have an absolute paucity of actual interpretation of what it means. And often the quick assignment of blame is to, air quote, Russian organized crime, which may or may not be true, but it's really what's going on. In many ways, it's China and America, and everybody else is essentially a proxy. If it's Iran, Iran is a proxy of China. In many ways, Russia is now the very junior partner to China and is a proxy. So my biggest concern is too much data, not enough analysis, not enough strategic understanding of what does this mean and what is the appropriate response by the U.S. government and our partners.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. John Mills, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bob. Thank
For
you,
reaction, we are now joined by our family of co-hosts, and that's lawyer and GOP strategist Ford O'Connell, Turning Point USA spokesperson and owner of 912 United, Graham Allen, and host of Money Talk with Melanie Collette. So, Ford, what do you think about when you see this kind of attack on the private sector?
Well, I think this should scare the heck out of all of us. It should also scare the heck out of Congress, because this is not going to be the last cyber attack we're going to have. And yes, the Colonial Pipeline is the largest pipeline in the United States in terms of delivering more than 100 million gallons of fuel each day. But we have to realize the future is cyber warfare, and the U.S. needs to be prepared. And I don't care whether it's a proxy company, as the Colonel suggested, or someone else. That doesn't stop the problem. So we need to be on our toes. We need to be better prepared. And frankly, I'm concerned that not only are the American people not going to pay attention to this, but neither is Congress. And one day we're going to be deaf, dumb, and blind.
So Graham, what do you...
I mean, Heather, that...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Heather, that's one of the things I think that bothers everybody is this step one towards something way more dangerous.
Right. I mean, the average for ransoms that are paid out is about $5.6 million. So this particular group, they've come forward, they said, no, we don't want to destroy anything. This was just about money. We just want to make money. But the larger question is, obviously, if they can do this, another group that did have intentions otherwise could do it as well.
Absolutely. Melanie, your thoughts?
Absolutely. And we have many bad actors that are out there. We have China, Iran, Russia, many bad actors that are out there that mean to do America harm. The first thing that came to my mind was our electrical grid that still lacks the infrastructure to be protected. And if the electrical grid goes, then our internet goes, then our banking goes, and America is in big trouble. And that was the first thing that came to my mind, and it's still not protected.
Yeah, and Graham, I think a lot of people, what I worry about is, let's say Russia was not involved with this directly as a country, or China wasn't. What are they learning from what happens here?
I think they're learning what everybody is learning, that there are a lot of aging defense systems within America, and they're learning that we are, in fact, vulnerable in a lot of places. We are playing catch up in a lot of ways, and it's sad to see that people that are, honestly, from what it sounds like, people just wanted money and they were just going to try to just see if they could pull it off, and they didn't really want to hurt anything. But there are probably a lot of very smarter people than the people that did this looking in going, hey, if they can do it, then we can go in there and really put the U.S. to its knees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Heather, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you do. It was 2003, there was an electrical grid that failed on the East Coast. I remember I was on a train over in Westchester County going north, and it came to a stop. And I always think, what happens when China figures out how to attack the electrical grid, and then you wake up one day and go on your online account and your banking account says zero?
Yeah, I mean, you can just look to what happened in the state of Texas this past winter. You know, we had a congressman from Texas earlier pointing out that with this happening, it would make the Keystone Pipeline in Texas more important. And we know what the Biden administration did. They shut that down. So when we have things that happen within the grid, like this pipeline that potentially could have impacted 100 million gallons a day, and then we have the Biden administration stopping construction on the Keystone Pipeline, and then we have problems with the grid, like what happened, what you mentioned in 2003, and then in Texas this past year, it shows that we do have some vulnerabilities that need to be concentrated on.
Yeah. By the way, folks, at Colonial Pipeline Management releasing this statement saying, at this time, our primary focus continues to be the safe and efficient restoration of service to our pipeline system while minimizing disruption to our customers and all those who rely on Colonial Pipeline. So, Ford, your final thoughts here.
Well, I think that we should be concerned here is that when we look at DarkSide, they may only be looking for money, but I think that it goes To Graham's point, and that is that everyone else can pay attention. When we have cyber attacks, we typically have three kinds of cyber attacks. One where they try to send you a message, two an actual attack, and three reconnaissance. This appears to be reconnaissance from an alleged Russian-aligned group. And the bottom line is China's paying attention. It's only a matter of time till they knock out our banking and put us energy grid and put us in the Stone Age.
Yeah, it's a different kind of warfare. I mean, we're good at going in and knocking things down. I don't know that we're prepared for this kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that concerns me. And I don't know about you all, but I'm going to fill up my gas tank pretty soon and make sure, you know, when it gets to $3, $4, $5, $6.
Would someone kindly send a message to Congress saying that this is infrastructure? If they could take a little bit of that, that $1.6 trillion bill and take care of this, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Very good point, Melanie. Okay.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.